Okay, so we are going to create a new document, and we're going to go to inches, and we are just going to make this a 5, let's just make it square, 5 by 5, again 300 RGB. And what I just want to show you is dealing with layers, and the quick way to show you layers is for you to use the brush tool in order to get it kind of done as far as layers. It also then will introduce some use of colors. So we're going to go ahead and get the brush tool. Shortcut is B. Now, your brushes may look a little bit different than mine because I have a lot of custom in there, but we're just going to stick with the standard brush for right now. So here's the thing with layers. So you can see over here in my layers palette. And by the way, if you don't have the layers palette, it's Window, Layers. You can see as I draw on this, right, this beautiful shape here, you can see it's on the background. Well, if I go to move that, oh, wait a minute. Oh, I can't. Do I want to convert it? Okay, maybe I panic and say yes, but look what's in the background. It has that white in the background. Well, I don't want that. So let's undo this. Let's undo this and say, okay, wait a minute. I want it independent of this. Well, that's where layers come in. So this little button down here says create new layer. There's also lots of ways you can create new layers. So that's one of them. You could also go up to layer, new, layer. You could also do Command Shift N, and you're going to call this orange. And now it's blank. And so you can see there's a couple things that I want to point out here. You see this little checkerboard? That means this is transparent. And if I have nothing on it, it becomes transparent. It stays transparent. Watch as I draw, right? That. You can see now, if I want to move that, let's grab this move tool, and now I can move it. You say, all right, well, I'd like to create another kind of brush stroke over here. Well, let's create a new layer. I'm going to do Command Shift N. I'm going to do a blue layer. Let's call it blue. So here's a way to get your colors, right? So click on the little color tab here. This will kind of be brought up. And here's what's really interesting about this is I can actually use color by hue, which is as this. I can use it as saturation, so I could take this color and make it more desaturated, or I could use it by brightness. I could say, okay, I'd like to choose all very bright colors, or I like to do all very dark colors. And you can see my color picker will change from that. So we'll do some brighter colors. We'll go over here, grab my brush tool, which is B, and I'll do another line. You say, that's great. I want to grab the move tool, and I want to put it right next to it. You got it. So let's do a new one. All right, Command Shift N, and we're going to call this green. And we're doing new, oops, not a new layer. We're going to grab a color. And you may be looking at this going, you know what, I don't want green. I really want kind of a pink color. Oh man, but I labeled my layer green. How do I change my name? That's a good question. Let's double click on green. Actually, we're going to do a slow click. No, that's not true. Double click works. Okay. And we're going to call this pink and hit enter. And there you go. And again, move tool, and I can move these independently. So that's great about the layers palette. That's really kind of the basic idea of the layers palette. Some other things that are on there at the bottom, let's look, is trash. So I can actually trash this layer. It says, do you want to delete this? I'm going to say no. There is new layer down here, which you talked about. There is group. So folder. So I'm going to select all of these. And I did that by clicking once and holding the Shift key and clicking that one, and it goes in a straight line. It selects from the first click to the last click. And I'm going to hit the little folder icon, and there we have these in a group. We'll talk a little bit about why you group it in later lectures, but the main idea here was for ease of use, it looks cleaner. I'm going to step backwards, which is edit step backwards, or undo rather. Sorry, we'll get back. Edit step backwards, right? Or Command Option Z, we can step backwards from that. Mask, which we'll talk about. Effects, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So that's kind of the basic of layers. I would suggest having as many layers as you can. It just allows flexibility in what we call non-destructive editing, and which is what we always want to do. So that's just the basic for getting around inside of Photoshop using layers and the brush tool.